that.
Good.
Hi. It's nice to
How's it
see you,
going?
Joseph.
What's
It's
going
going
on?
good. Yeah.
What were you up to right now?
Not much, just like helping with some family stuff earlier, but I'm at my grandma's in my old studio right now.
Oh,
So it's
nice. I
quiet
can
here.
see some paintings.
Yeah,
Are the,
some of my old stuff that I kind of just have like left behind at her house. Yeah.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, shit. My bad.
What are you doing right now?
I need to switch my camera. There we go. I was
Were
just
you working
chilling.
on anything today?
Just working on the house and stuff. I got some paintings that I
Hmm.
got to get on. Des is making some
Yeah.
masks right now, so we're just getting it
Oh,
rolling.
nice. Yeah, keep the work up. Yeah.
Well, let's get to it. So let me
Okay.
introduce everyone to Mickey. This is Mikayla Gutierrez. She's my actual apprentice at Body Art Gallery. Some of you guys probably, if you're from this area, you recognize her because she did the mural at the Visalia Cemetery. She's done tons of local art shows. She does like teaching seminars and things like this. She was going to school at COS. She's just all over the place. She's been in the newspapers. She's been featured in magazines at the school. Like she's done everything. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you for the good intro. My name is Mikayla. Like Joseph was saying, we're using this live opportunity to announce that I'm the shop apprentice at the Body Art Gallery. Before I became an apprentice, I was mostly just focusing on art, focusing on education to help me get to the point of artistic talent or skill that I've been wanting to. And Joseph, I just want to say thank you because I've always admired you. So I'm glad to be in your life and at the shop and learning underneath you. It's really exciting.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
Nah, you're a hard worker, so we've been watching you for a minute. Um, but I wanted to kind of take this time so people can kind of get to know you a little bit. So I know a little bit about you, but we're gonna have to dive deep. We're gonna have to get in there. We're gonna have to
You
see
know,
where did all this hard work come from? Where did all this artistic inspiration come from? Like, have you
yeah.
been doing art since you were a little kid? Is it something that happened in high school? Was it something you found while you were in college? Like, where did all this come from?
You know, that's funny too because I know we were doing this live to share with the community what's going on, but then I was also thinking too between you and like I know I don't really talk about myself much, but yeah, I kind of grew up in a creative household. I grew up with my mom and my grandma living with them, and I always saw my mom drawing. She always had colored pencils, sketchbooks around. My grandma, whenever we'd spend time with her, she always spent time with us doing really creative things, making shirts. We would write jingles, like write songs and stuff, paint, do all of that. So being creative and like making stuff was just in my house already. And so I think from that, like I picked it up like really quickly and naturally. You know?
And that was like while you're in elementary school. These are things that you're being exposed to.
Yeah, and then it really wasn't until middle school, I'd say, till
Hmm.
where like in my spare time I just started picking it up on my own and like doing my own projects and all that.
Okay. So you had like a little cultivation happening, like a little garden of
Yeah,
creativity.
honestly, yeah, because there was always art supplies around me, and like I'm super thankful and blessed to have that because I know not all children grow up with like having just paint and colored pencils in the house. So I'm really appreciative of being able to grow up in a house where like creativity was just a normal thing that you do in your spare time. And so it was really easy for me to like want to get any supplies and do anything with them.
Okay, that's tight. And then in
Yeah.
elementary school, I know when I was growing up, we had like random art teachers that would come by like once a month or something. Did you have any like things with that, or did you do like anything during the summers and stuff, or?
In elementary school, I remember doing arts and crafts and stuff. The only real memory I have is in first grade we had a coloring contest,
Hmm.
and I got first place. And that always stuck with me. Like that little moment, I was all, damn, I could color really good. And that always just like stuck with me until I was 13. And then once I started picking it up again, I was like, oh shit, like I could actually do this and I want to get good at it. Yeah.
Did you do the like local fairs, or where did you grow up?
Visalia.
Okay. So did you
Visalia.
do like the local fairs and stuff, and like the art shows and stuff?
Um, Not really, not in
Yeah.
elementary school. No, I just really remember watching my grandma and my mom always doing something creative on the side. Yeah. It
Hmm.
wasn't until middle school where I was on Tumblr a lot, and
Hmm.
Tumblr has a lot of just like artsy photos on it. So I
Hmm.
think like my first like exposure, like my self exposure to art was through like Tumblr and like seeing posts and stuff, or seeing I would see like photos I liked and be like, "Oh, I'm going to try to draw that or I'm going to try to paint that." And then that
Hmm.
just never stopped
Yeah,
since then.
that's
Yeah.
tight though. Um, so let me see. When you were in middle school, high school, what years were that? Because I'm old, so I don't even know. Like,
Okay, so I graduated in 2016. So I was a ninth grader in 2012. So I probably picked it up around like seventh or eighth grade. So like 2010,
mhm,
2011. So it's been almost like 10 years. Not that I was taking it seriously at 13. I didn't start taking it seriously till I was 17 or 18.
mhm,
But yeah, that 10 years of just like honestly, I'd kind of just like F off on my homework a lot, especially in
mhm.
high school. Like I kind of just stopped caring about school in that way and would just draw and paint in my spare time.
Uh, that's tight.
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
watching any shows or anything like that, like on YouTube or on television that like kind of got you like, oh, a little bit motivated or?
Um, you know what? Not really. I think I did watch like Miami Ink growing up, if that's like a show that
Mhm,
influenced me at all, but really most of it was just Tumblr. I was on Tumblr a lot, and
mhm,
there's just a lot of art on there, so that just really influenced me. And then I took my first drawing class in ninth or 10th grade, and so being around other artists in that class, and then Instagram became really popular around then. So
mhm,
then Instagram and Tumblr were just my main like um, sources to see art in the world.
mhm. So you're just out
Yeah.
there swiping, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, no, like I call myself like an internet baby or like a digital baby because like I was just born into that. I think when I was younger, there wasn't a lot on YouTube that I remember except
Mhm,
music and music videos.
mhm.
And then, but nowadays there's like everything on YouTube. But yeah, I mostly still just use Instagram to
Mhm.
see the world. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting because I don't know, like that. That you're just like that's where you're getting most of your influence was from, like basically social media, you know?
The internet, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So let me kind of segue into something else. And you're in high school, and you started tattooing in high school or after high school? Because you've tattooed before.
Yeah,
I know a little bit, so I'm like, okay, so how
yeah.
did that come about? Like,
Um,
you're just like, fuck it, let's do this shit.
well, my first experience with tattooing was stick and pokes, and that's actually
Uh,
because of Tumblr, because you would see all these like pastel goth photos with like stick and pokes and stuff. So that was my first experience was going to Walmart and buying like the two things you need to do a stick and poke. And then that was in 10th grade, so I was about like 15 at that point.
oh,
And
damn.
then it was when I turned 17 that my dad started talking to me about tattoos because I grew up with both my parents getting tattoos. Like it was
Mhm,
just kind of a normal thing. I remember walking into tattoo shops or seeing them get new tattoos all the time. Like it was always like a pretty acceptable thing in my family. So
mhm,
then when I turned 17, my dad was just like, hey, like, you're getting older, you're about to graduate, like, you need to do something for yourself. I think you
mhm,
should double down on your art and try to tattoo. So then we kind of got together and bought myself a kit and stuff and posted up at the house. Yeah. And I was tattooing other like high schoolers, and I would just tell them like, I'm 17, like you know what you're getting yourself into, like letting a 17-year-old tattoo them at your house. Like I never really like felt bad. I just like everyone was a guinea pig, and I feel like I made that like clear to people that I didn't know what I was doing.
Hmm. But they
I
didn't
just
care
want
probably.
yeah, they still, I just wanted to do it, and they didn't care either. It was just for the experience sometimes. I know a few people that got theirs covered up, but I mean it happens,
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad.
Were you doing a lot?
You know what? I was doing a good amount because when I was 17, I was going to a charter school. So I
Hmm.
was only going to school like two days a week for like a couple hours.
Oh, damn.
So I had a lot of free time, and then it was right around the summertime that I picked it up. So during the summer, just people were all kinds of high schoolers were hitting me up, and people were paying me. My dad like wanted to kind of be like my manager,
Uh-huh.
so he was making sure that I was charging $40 an hour from the start. Like
And
he
that's
was
not
like,
bad for high school.
right, yeah, I was 17, like pulling racks, like I felt like a baller. And I just got my license too, so driving my friends around with my poor tattoo money.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Probably just spending the big bucks on drive-through and everything, getting
Drive
slushies.
through. Honestly, yeah, just hanging out with friends, food, going to the mall or something. Yeah.
That's funny. Were you doing, because so you were doing art, were you doing like paintings and stuff like that or anything, or was it
um,
just making money off of the tattoos?
you know what? Right before I picked up the machine, I had barely started like my first oil paintings. So
Mm.
I was had been doing watercolor. I was playing with a lot of like mixed media, like colored pencils, pens, ink throughout high school, just like finding what I like. And then it wasn't until I was like 16, 17 that I picked up, my grandma gave me my first set of oil paints. But I
Hmm.
really didn't know how to use them, so they kind of intimidated me at first. So I did try to paint. I don't think I have anything from back then now because it's all shit. Like it's just junk, your first paintings. But yeah, I was already kind of painting by then, but I wasn't totally dedicated to it. I was still experimenting, and even with the tattooing at the time, like I was experimenting. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're doing tattoos and you've had like this upbringing with art. Was that like just a natural, you're like, this is what I'm gonna do type thing? Like, were you ever like, oh, maybe I'll be a doctor or something like?
You know what? Actually, like my first idea, like when I graduated, I thought, like I wanted to be realistic. So at first, I thought I was going to go to school and get a degree. I was actually really interested in like psychology,
Hmm.
sociology, and all of that. I don't know. It was just for a long time. It was just something that I really enjoyed doing in my spare time. And
Hmm.
it wasn't until I met like an actual artist that until I actually believed that like that was something that you could actually do in reality. Because even though I was doing it, like I still had a lot of doubt at that point, and that's why it took me so long to walk into tattooing. Just self doubt.
What kind of doubt? Like you're just like scared or what?
Um, I think mostly seeing art around me as a hobby and never being close or knowing anyone that like actually made a career out of it.
Hmm.
So I think just the intimidation of like being the first one in my family to go down a sketchy path. Not sketchy, but you know how parents can be. They always just want the best for you and whatnot. That's why
Hmm.
I'm really grateful for my dad for like just believing from my art in the from the very beginning and telling me like because he had always gotten tattoos, been inside and out of tattoo shops. So I had one parent that was like really supportive of me, and that really benefited me.
Yeah, having a support system will mean the world because, like, if you're like, dude, I
Yeah.
can't do it, they're like, no, you got it, and like, it'll just
Yeah.
give you that extra push.
Yeah, they could have killed my dreams if they wanted to, but they really could have. I had that doubt. If I hadn't had that support, I probably wouldn't be where I am. But because I
Hmm.
did, I'm just super thankful for being born into parents that were totally okay with me just being myself and expressing myself.
And do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister, and then I have two younger siblings, a younger sister and
Oh,
a
right.
younger brother. Yeah.
Are any of them interested in art and stuff like that, or?
I consider us all creatives. My sister, I grew up, she started drawing before me. I always watched her, like, we just always drew and did arts and crafts and stuff. I always watched her do that. She didn't go down that path, but yeah, all my siblings, we all just dabble in the arts. My younger sister actually does a lot of digital stuff nowadays since like she's a little younger than me, so she's walked straight into like the digital media, and she's actually like there's a lot you can do with the digital mediums. She's really awesome at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so how did you start doing like shows around town? Like a lot of people know you because you've been doing like the local art shows, you've been doing galleries, and like
Hmm.
you kind of got plugged into the scene in this area, and like you did really, or you've been doing really well. You currently like
Yeah.
still do stuff. Like, how did you get into that world?
I was actually introduced to a man called named Eric. He runs the Urbanist Collective. It's a group here in Visalia. Made of a lot of artists and graffiti artists, and they do a lot of community projects with kids, with adults. They put on a lot of shows here in downtown Visalia to help spread art into the community. And once I had connected to Eric the first year, he was hosting um, this women's art show that they do in March. And then me being a woman, I was just like, cool, this would be totally tight. I've never shown my art. It was just like scrap pieces of paper laid out on the table, like nothing fancy, just laid out. And people responded well, and I had a good time doing it. And like I said, it wasn't until I started meeting other artists in the community that I was like, wow, this is actually something that I can do and is achievable, and like it's realistic. Like it's an achievable thing if you really commit to it. So that's how I started doing the shows.
And and because you last year you did a couple of murals. Like, how did you start building up to like large scale work? Was it like really intimidating compared to like just handling canvases? Because I feel
Um,
like just being huge, like just that alone, it's like you look at a wall and you're like, damn, this is gonna take forever. Like,
yeah. To me, that was always part of like the dream. I feel like I dreamed a lot growing up, so that was just something like, oh, that would be really cool to do murals. There's like, I'd always see the ones downtown in Visalia,
mm-hmm,
and think like, wow, we need more of those. Like, we need more art in this town. Starting from when I started going to shows, like I just started networking and meeting so many people. I think the biggest thing that the reason why I was able to do that mural was because of networking. Like anytime a show would come up where it was free to go, where you just set up, like I always like wasn't afraid to, even if my art was shit at the time, I wasn't afraid to set up and just show people, hey, I'm an artist, this is what I do. And then from there on, you just build credibility and you meet new people and you build connections. And that's honestly like the only reason why I was able to like why they approached me with that gig was because of the network I had created at that point.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. So like
And
nowadays, um, are there any other interests like with that type of thing or goals that you have? Like, you're still doing them? I'm assuming, and wanting to do more projects and things like that.
yeah, definitely. Actually, that's something that well, I've only done like two or three large scale pieces at this point. I would really love to go into it a lot more. I think Visalia needs more art. I think it'd be really awesome. Anytime I'm driving around and I see a big empty wall in a good spot, I always think like we just need more art. We need more culture, artistic culture here. And Visalia has a lot. That's why I really do love this town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's important to be active in the community and be able to share these things with people and especially youth. Like anything for youth, I'll always do. Um, but yeah, I definitely plan on doing more murals in the future. I actually do have a few projects lined up, but coronavirus happened, so that kind of halted some things. Yeah,
Yeah,
but there are things in the making.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, who's influencing you these days? Like, you kind of talked about your upbringing and kind of, these little spots that you hit in high school where you're having this like kind of upward trend. Like these days, like, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, for one thing, I definitely keep up with the artistic community around us. I do try to like stay updated with like what other people are doing, what's going on, like what's the like tone for art where we live. Lately, I've actually been inspired a lot by LA artists and Chicano artists. As I grow older and I find discover my own identity and become more comfortable in my own skin as a Latina and as a woman, I've found a lot of inspiration from Chicano culture and Chicano artists because having an identity and being proud of who you are, as cheesy as it sounds, like it's important, you know. So as of lately, those people have been really influencing me. You obviously, you've always. I know you laugh when I say it, or that one time I made a joke about idolizing you. You were like, what? But yeah, you definitely. You also being a Latino man and being a person in this community, holding up art for the rest of us, like it's definitely really inspiring. And I always, whenever I brag about you, Joseph, I always tell people like, oh, he's working in LA for like 8 years, 7, 8 years. He brought that shit back to the valley. Like I'm always like, I always brag about that. He brought it here, man.
Yeah, don't look up to me too much. I pee my pants as an adult, bro. So
Only so much I can do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Nah, but I appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but is there like any particular artist that you like keep your eyes on that's like um that you draw like a lot of inspiration or people around you that kind of influence your like work, like either whether it's on the canvas or just like work ethic in general that you're like, or is it just like only you got this?
Um, you know what? I actually think like people around me that motivate me. I do keep up with like I said, like the art that goes on around us, what other people are doing. But most of the time, the voices in my head that are like leading me to my way are the voices of my mentors. So the professors I had at COS when I was going to college, anytime I'm painting or drawing or doing something, like their voices always ring in my mind. Or you, honestly, well, since I'm your apprentice, like whenever I'm doing stuff, like your voice is just like right there. So I kind of just like I have a lot of people I look up to in that aspect, and people, artists, meeting older artists that have existed in the community for a long time, and seeing them care about the youth, care about me, when like they don't have to. I think that's probably been my like biggest lead. And I kind of just I try to keep up with like tattoo artists in LA and the community and stuff. But for the most part, I kind of just try to do what I like and not feel judgmental or try to compare myself too much or try to be like someone else too much. I kind of just still try to like apply whatever techniques I find are useful, but then still continue to just like find my voice as an artist, which I feel like I'm still doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you felt like took you to another level, like as far as with your work, like whether it be recently or in the past 3 years, where it was just like you're kind of going this way, and then all of a sudden you kind of hit a spot, and you're like you're kind of like leveling up.
I think the biggest factor in getting better is not being afraid of asking people for help or like asking people. I've always like for a long time I've always aimed for people that were at least 10 years older than me doing something similar or what I want to do and knowing that I don't really know shit. Even if you look kind of cool relative to like the like people in your age or whatever, like there's always someone that knows way more than you.
Mm-hmm.
So going to COS and taking classes there, just fundamental classes, like has helped me so much. And then of course learning underneath Lanny, being exposed to his teachings and his education, that has really that actually meeting you, learning underneath you and Lanny, and being at the shop has been like the biggest like jump for me. And I think it's because I wanted to make it that like, well, I wanted an apprenticeship, so I wanted to be directly underneath someone at a community college. They have a bunch of other students to tend to. You don't really get the focus that you could really get directly underneath a mentor. So I think being underneath you, Joseph, and learning from you has been like the biggest leap for me.
Oh, thanks. I
Yeah.
know I'd be getting on you sometimes, but it's for your own good, kid.
No, I like it. It's all right. I accept it.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
okay with that stuff.
I feel also too like Lanny is just a monster, and like I feel like every time I talk to somebody that also knows Lanny, they're always like, we're just on that fool's nets because, and that's Lanny Markowski. I've done a live with him on here. He's been on a
Yeah.
couple of my episodes. He just came out with a book with Memento Publishing, Mastering Realism. Like,
We'll put a link up after the story so you guys can see some of his work. But
he's a great teacher for sure.
and you got to take or participate in a storyboarding class, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so awesome. Hmm.
Was there anything like a little jewel or something big that you think that you pulled from it that you'll probably be able to use with tattooing or painting?
Well, I feel like I got to go more in depth into the art of visual storytelling. I think that was the whole summary for the entire course was the art of visual storytelling, and I think the at the pace which you have to produce boards as a storyboard artist, learning how to do that quickly, make the right decisions, knowing enough fundamentals to make the right decisions and not have to go back and to keep building on top of those decisions in a timely manner. I feel like that has been the most beneficial, is learning how to be quick with it, and then realizing that even like in movies, like there's so many scenes that pass your eyes, but every shot and every detail a lot of the time like has like good purpose, the perspective, the angle, the horizon line, all of that, like it all makes such a difference in like the art of telling a story without words. So I think learning how to produce faster and make the right decisions, that was probably the coolest thing that I got out of it.
Mm-hmm. Normally, do you work pretty quick, or do you like spend like months and months on like one painting?
um I'm not as quick as I'd like to be. I will admit that sometimes I am a perfectionist in my work, and I have been teaching myself to not have that habit so much, not be so hard on myself to be perfect. Um, so lately, I've just been trying to speed it up a little bit and not worry about all the little details. Just learn how to produce faster, especially when you choose to make art into a job and not just a side hobby. You got to learn how to be able to produce in a timely manner.
Yeah. I mean, you've kind of been able to.
Make art your job for a minute now, so.
Yeah, I've been super committed and super just like, this is it. Like, this is my life. Like, I've chosen the result of everything, and I'm not gonna quit until I die. As dramatic as it is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, 50 Cent, you out here.
Yeah. So,
Nah, but I mean, that's awesome. That's kind of how you have to
you
go
know,
into it, especially if it's your
yeah.
dream or it's your goal and like that's what you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna say something about that, but like having that drive and like having these things that you want for yourself. Is that something that you try to put in your artwork or that you try to include? Like, because you said you like working with youth and stuff. Is that something that you want people to know about you as far as like when you work with the youth, like that they can also do it? Because I mean, we're both from a similar place. I'm from Tulare, you're from Visalia, but I think a lot of kids around here like they think, oh, this is all I got. Like, but I mean, I'm always saying like, sky's the limit out here. If there's nothing here, you can fill that void.
Yeah. Um, like I said earlier, I was definitely blessed to grow up in a house where art supplies were at my disposal. Like that's something I'm super thankful for, and I know not everyone gets that. I think that's why I try to do anytime anyone asks me to do something for youth or for kids, majority of the time, I'll probably do it for free just because I feel like it was so important for me to have those few moments with my grandma where she made something creative with us, or we painted shirts or something. So I try to make myself available to that as much as I can. I've done like those library workshops I do. People normally will offer to pay me, but if they're for free, like I would still just do them because it's for kids, and I'm not going to charge Like, I think that's an experience that all kids deserve. But besides trying to get the youth involved, I do hope people see that, like, commitment. You will get a result when you're committed. Being an artist, it's hard work. It's not easy. A lot of the times you have to be your own cheerleader. A lot of times people don't have a mentor to push them or to be that voice to make them a little more uncomfortable, to do something that, draw something that might scare them, or to try something that they've never tried before. I feel like, thank God I have you, and thank God I've searched for mentors in my life, but that's the biggest thing too, I feel like, is being your own motivator for those types of things, and just being committed, because nothing comes quickly. Like I said, like, I went to any free event, any place that I could get in for free or for a couple bucks, even if it was a small event, if I could go and show my art, I would, because I knew that it was going to build me a network, it was going to make me a part of the community, and it's just years of that just compounding is what it is. Yeah.
So on the surface, if people are just hearing about you, like, oh man, she just started at the top, but it's not really like that. Like,
No, not at all. Like I said, the first time I showed art, it was just like pieces of paper on a table, like just random, no direction, like just a bunch of different stuff. I didn't realize that I wanted to, like, paint until I was 17. I didn't really commit to wanting to tattoo till I was 21. So, and I've been drawing since I remember being like 13 or 14 and painting one day and being like, I want to get really good at this. So from being 13 to 22, almost 10 years, it's taken that long of this thought of like, I want to be good at this, and committing to that to get to this point that I'm at. And even then, I still have a long ways to go, I feel like.
and now, like, you've had that 10 years of, like, time with just art in general. Like, how do you feel about, like, getting your first starts about tattooing? Because it's almost like you have to, like, start all the way over, or, well, maybe not all the way over, but from the ground up. It's a whole different community, it's a whole different beast.
Yeah. Well, I did meet tattooing when, kind of, like, not even, I was just playing around, but I'd like to say that I met tattooing when I was 17, and then meeting other artists and dating another artist, and being exposed to the tattoo community and seeing how different shops run. I feel like for the past 5 years, I've put myself out there enough to be able to know what tattooing took, and what it takes for the individual. So I've it wasn't until I was 21 that I felt like mentally, and emotionally, artistically prepared enough to walk into tattooing. And I knew that if I was going to walk into it, I was going to walk into it into the right environment, a safe environment, and with the right people, which I have, and which I'm so grateful for, because you guys are all awesome, and the shop is super awesome, and we have a lot of good people that we work with. It's really nice. It's special, because not all places are like that in the world, and we have a nice, healthy shop.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference, especially with
It
tattooing.
does.
You could fall down a crazy rabbit hole of just wild, like the Wild West type thing. So
Yeah, cowboy stuff, wizard shit. Yeah. No, I've seen that.
We still got some wizard shit. Shout out Z.
True, huh? Yeah. Tat wizards. Yeah, so I just knew that, like, I wanted to do it in the right environment with the right people, and I kind of sought that out. And like I said, I'd been around it for years before then, so I kind of had a taste of, like, knowing what it takes before I decided, like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
And tattooing, is there anything particularly interested, or any, like, parts of the tattoo world that you're particularly interested in?
Definitely realism, portraits. I feel like when I was doing a lot of painting commissions, I really enjoyed doing portraits. They always felt like really good practice for me, for my own personal projects, like being able to practice doing other faces and whatnot. Portraits I really enjoy doing. I've always wanted to paint paintings on people. Like, you did that one painting on that girl. I mean, you did that one tattoo on that girl's arm with the statue with the window.
Oh, the Magritte.
Yeah. When I saw you do that,
Mariana.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, shout out to Mariana, by the way. She collected my art too. But when I saw that, I was like, that's so awesome. Like, I would love to be able to like put master copies onto people. So I'm just mostly realism. I'm into like surrealist art. So anything around there. I've been really inspired by Chicano art, like I said.
Mhm.
So anything in that realm, I'm excited to get into.
Mhm. That's
Yeah,
tight. And how long have you been apprenticing for now? I
5 or 6
can't remember.
months
What?
since the beginning of this year.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going by quick. But let
Yeah.
me tell you guys, she's been working. This lockdown hasn't stopped her, so she's been cooking up some stuff.
Yeah. No, I definitely have. No,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad I have you too to make me get to work
Mm-hmm.
because I know even though stuff is down right now, it's still important to keep it all fresh.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity. We're probably never gonna have one like this ever again. So might
Yeah.
as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, and even uh, I mean, it sucks that everything's closed down, but even the coronavirus break like helped me get a mental break as well. So I feel like we can walk into the shop again with even more energy and goals and stuff. Like if it was a good like reset button.
Yeah, we're very lucky that all of us are healthy and nothing has really
Yeah.
affected us too much. I mean, all of us have people around us that have been affected, and
Mhm.
it's not like a great thing by any means. But if we can flip it and make it a positive, we can all come out like in a better place.
Right.
Mhm. And so if you guys are just tuning in or you're a little bit late, Mikayla is the apprentice at Body Art Gallery. She's my personal apprentice. So she
Woot
said she
woot.
wants to do she wants to do portraits.
Reppin'.
We're gonna work really hard.
You have a couple drawings that you've been working on, right?
And we have
Mhm.
a couple more. We're actually hoping maybe next month that we can start working on some skin. So how do you
That's
feel about
exciting.
that? Because I mean, you had to take a break for like a minute. You haven't really been tattooing, so.
Yeah, no, not at all. I've tattooed like what, like 3 times in the past 4 years.
Hmm.
I'd say it's been a while. When you said that, I immediately got sweaty. That's how that made me feel. But it was like a good sweaty, like super excited, nervous definitely because it's skin and it's real pain for people. And I know they like to move and laugh and stuff. So it's different from a piece of paper. But I'm super excited. I feel like when I was 17, I'd attempted to get an apprenticeship. Never happened. I didn't really push it that much. I didn't really have anyone to guide me. I don't feel like I had at that time in my life the emotional or mental capabilities to be able to like work and function at a tattoo shop. So now that I'm
Hmm.
older, I'm kind of grateful that like I got to observe the tattoo community from a distance and be able to
Hmm.
see how stuff runs, how people are, how business is. And I feel like now being 21, 22 years old, I can walk into it with like enough physical, mental, spiritual strength to be able to do what I feel like I would like to do in tattooing, which is realism and portraits and giving people badass paintings on skin. Yeah, forever.
It's funny to hear you say that because you're like, now that I'm 21, I'm like, dude, you're so young. Like, you're a child, bro. Like,
I know. When I turned 22 the other day, like, yeah, I guess I shouldn't feel old. Getting old is kind of scary. Just seeing the years go by so fast.
Mhm.
What you do between high school and like 22 years old, like, it's really setting you up. Like, it's really good to know what you want to do and commit to it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even figure it out until they're like mid 30s. So you're ahead of the
Yeah,
game. You already have a goal. You have something that takes a long time, but you're young enough to take risks with it, and you can
yeah,
fail and still
perfect
recover. You know
timing.
what I mean? You have the energy to put effort into it. So.
Yeah, and if anyone is listening to this artist, I'd say the biggest thing is like finding people to look up to and mentors and like admitting that you don't know everything and that people know way more than you and just submitting to people that are way better than you at the thing you want to do. Finding mentors is so important.
Yeah, I super
Good
like that. So
mentors.
just submitting to it. Because I think,
So
I mean, sometimes people when you're younger, you're just like, I got this shit, and then you just get like beat down by the world because you're trying to be so stubborn, and then you just gotta like kind of bow down, and then it'll kind of like let you in, you know?
Yeah.
You'll be like,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Like
definitely.
I don't know anything. But
Yeah, really. And that's why I think it's important too to be aware as an artist of like not only be aware but be involved in the artistic community because you get to see like where everyone else is at. Even if you're kind of cool relative to everyone else, like there's
mhm,
always another person that's gonna be better than you, know more than you, have more connections than you.
mhm,
Maybe not as good as you, but doing exactly what you want to do and living their dreams out. You
mhm.
know, having something you want. So it's always good to submit to their education, their knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tight. Um,
Yeah.
was there any? We're kind of pretty close to our time right now. Where can people find you? Like,
Instagram and
drop.
Facebook.
Hmm.
Did you mean online?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, it's just my name, Mikayla M. Gutierrez. And then Facebook is just art of Mikayla M. Gutierrez. I'm mostly active on Instagram just because it is a visual platform. So it makes sense as an artist to be on Instagram a lot. That's where I do most of my business with people and post most of my updated art.
Hmm.
And if you
And as
want to
far
find,
as
no, go ahead.
no, you good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say if you want to find me in physical form when stuff opens up at the tattoo shop.
Where's that?
Oh, the Body Art Gallery, Tulare, California, 1267 East Prosperity Avenue,
Oh damn.
93277.
7-4.
Oh, dang, that was close. Yeah.
Are you accepting like commissions and things like this right now?
Yeah, I am. I've been doing a lot of pencil drawings as an
Hmm.
apprentice, so luckily, a lot of people have been hitting me up for portraits, family portraits, dog portraits. So I mostly work in pencil and paintings. Whether if you want oil painting or acrylic painting, those are the two mediums that I usually dabble in. So usually that's where what people hit me up for.
Okay. And if they want to hit you up for like large scale work, that's the best place to get you?
Yeah, and my email. My
Hmm.
email is also Mikayla Gutierrez 54 at gmail.com. So people usually just email, Instagram, and Facebook are like my main things for getting into contact with people.
Okay. So we'll get all that information, put it down there in the description. And then if you guys are tuning in live right now, I'll post that stuff up right after we post it live. So it'll be on my story. So you can get a hold of this lady, collect some portraits, some animal portraits, some pencil drawings, have her come paint your kitchen, you know, whatever, and get a mural going.
Yeah. Yeah, I
All
actually
right,
got
is
hit
there?
up to, I know, I actually got hit up to do someone's garage recently.
Oh yeah.
So if anyone wants their garage door painted, I'll paint it. I'll paint whatever. Just give me what you want, I'll paint on it.
If it's a surface, I'll mark it up.
Yeah, someone gave me a jacket the other day. I'm gonna paint on it, so I'll paint on whatever. Well, hit me up your
It's
painting
like,
needs.
I'm gonna have you paint Lorelai, my dog. Just
Huh?
get
I'll
a little
paint your
banner
dog.
going on the side.
Huh?
That's funny. I'm gonna report you because that's animal cruelty. But it's
Huh?
okay. No, I'm just kidding.
All those toxins. So
She'll be all right. She's good.
yeah, she's a
Hell
good
yeah.
girl.
Well, is there any last words before we sign off here?
Um, I just want to say thanks, Joseph. I really appreciate you. You've done more for me than I could ever ask for or expect from you. And I still look up to you a lot, and you're awesome. And I love the
Oh,
shop. And to say it, for you to hear it and for other people to hear it, you've cultivated a very nice, safe, healthy, welcoming space called the Body Art Gallery for not only artists but also people that want to collect art, and that's something very I think is very rare for being able to observe the tattoo community. So I think what we have and what you've created for us at the Body Art Gallery has been like more than I could ever be thankful for. And people, I think people see that. I think people see how fucking awesome the Body Art Gallery is, and it's like you get tattooed there once, and you're not going anywhere else because you. I think you've created such a great space. So I want to say thanks. I appreciate
oh,
it a
thanks.
lot.
Yeah, I mean, we all got our parts, so we just
Yeah.
gotta keep it running like a well-oiled machine.
Hmm.
Also, too, she's saying all these kind words, and the first time she came to get an apprenticeship, I pretty much like, hey, there's the door, dude. Get out of
Yeah,
here.
I skipped that part where I asked you 3 years ago. It's okay. I was young. It wasn't meant to happen because I wasn't ready, but I think it happened good timing.
No, I did give you an opportunity. I said, go fill up
No,
a
yeah.
sketchbook. So,
No, exactly.
but
I didn't even
I
have the
like giving you a
artistic.
hard time.
Yeah. No,
That's
it's
all.
good that people that push you, not just make you feel comfortable, make you do more than you can do.
Mm-hmm. Nah, but we appreciate you. You work hard, and everything that the shop's giving you or that we're helping you with, you earned it. You definitely have been working hard in your apprenticeship. So when the shop was open, you're keeping them floors clean,
I
boy.
can't wait to clean the toilet again. I'm excited to smell the Pine Sol and the Clorox. I really am. I'm excited to go back when we open. Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well. All right. Well then, we will be posting up your information in the description, or if you're tuning in live right after the story. But yeah, this is this has been fun. So we're gonna have to do this again once you start doing some pieces, so we can talk about that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Take care, yo.
All right. Thanks. Bye, Joseph.
Bye.